Thank you. We all rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our acceptance of minutes of public hearing 9/6/22 and regular meeting 9/6/22.
Motion to approve the public hearing and regular meeting minutes for both from September 6th.
Motion by Mr. Talley, second by Mr. Dawson, and Mr.
9/12.
9.
Yes, 9/12 minutes. You're absolutely correct. That's
Oh.
wrong on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Something wrong on the agenda.
Oh,
Apologize, it's wrong on the agenda.
It should be 9/12. Right.
I accept the change. Mr. Dawson does do that. I do it.
okay,
I have one comment.
okay.
I had thought that I had said at the hearing last time that I had listened to the tape of the July 11th hearing, which I was missed in person because I was away. But it's not in the minutes, so I'm just confirming that I did in fact review the video of the
Okay.
July 11th.
And I remember you saying that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion on the minutes? Anything else? All those in favor, singing by saying aye.
Aye.
Use Mr. Hilsinger for that one. Oh, you're gonna have to. Okay. So 8-0-1.
Who's abstaining?
Mr. Bowman. Okay, moving to communications, review of conveyance of land to the town from State Connecticut DOC issued a report pursuant of section 824 of the Connecticut General Statutes.
Mr. Chairman, you have correspondence from Arnett Talbot, the Assistant Town Manager. The state of Connecticut, pursuant to special act of the General Assembly, is deeding approximately 3.25, 3.26 acres to the town of Cheshire, all located off the southern edge of Sandbank Road, adjacent to the intersection of Sandbank and Route 10. This is basically, it's the school bus depot. It's been leased by this town since 1982 for storage of school buses. The state is giving us now the ability to own the property that we've been owning or leasing for all these years. So this is a 824 referral, so just we're looking for that finding that it's consistent with the goals and objectives of the 2016 Plan of Conservation and Development. I think in here, I just noted that, it's creating a long-term sustainable operation courtesy of cutting lease payments is an activity that's consistent with the goals and objectives of the 2016 Plan of Conservation and Development.
I just have another question. On the property, right now with the buses there, is that part of the deal with the school buses that they provide the property, or is that leased to the school bus?
It's leased actually to the Board of Ed.
Who maintains the property?
So they have to provide the space for the buses to be there.
For the buses.
Okay, so the buses, okay, so the bus company doesn't like lease it from the Board of Education. Okay. So,
Probably the cost for it, so that would happen.
But
okay.
does the Board of Ed lease it from the state?
Yes.
So they'll lease it from us now.
Yeah, there'll be a different structure, of course. That the key to this is we're no longer making lease payments to the state of Connecticut once we own it. So we're saving money in the long run.
Who maintains all the property?
So right now, it would be subject to the lease, and I'm assuming that the Board of Ed is assuming those responsibilities. But
liabilities.
same thing,
So that all falls under town council's purview?
correct.
Ms. Bowman.
They will have to come in to expand the bus parking with a site plan for us to review.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Should they plan on doing that in the future?
Well, they're picking up more space now, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Mrs. Blake will vote on this one. And, we have a motion or?
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion actually for you.
Okay.
Motion to send a positive referral to the town council concerning the conveyance of approximately 3.26 acres from the state of Connecticut to the town of Cheshire for purpose of a school bus depot is consistent with the goals and objectives of the 2016 Plan of Conservation and Development.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mercado. Sorry, Ms. Curtis. Any discussion? No, I think we've had a discussion. Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So that'll be 9-all. Mrs. Blake voted on that one.
I would love to see where the old Sandbank Road broke off there, though. Sandbank Road used to go in two different directions. I'd like to see if part of what they're giving us, actually the town had owned at one time. Remember when Sandbank Road broke and went both ways?
At the
Probably
very
don't.
end.
But it did. Woody would remember.
Remember that?
Refuse to speak on the grounds that might incriminate.
Okay. Number 7, General Commission Business, discussion with Andrew Martelli.
So unfortunately, Mr. Martelli is under the weather. He's not here tonight.
So he's not sick.
We'll table that maybe for October 24th. Give him a month to get better and maybe have more to report for you.
Okay. All right, unfinished business, number 1, 2, and 3. Read it off?
Sean,
Yes.
I would like to just make very clear, as Mr. Didisco did, that I reviewed the minutes, and I'd like to thank Mike and Mike for sitting with 2 hours with me and going through everything that was discussed at the meeting that I left, including the wetlands approval. And thank you very much for getting me up to speed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Talley.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to ask to go out of order, actually, probably vote on the special permit
Do you-
first.
Do you want to read it, or?
I will read the motion for the special
Okay.
permit first. Really, we should vote on that first, then the cluster subdivision application. So motion to approve application for special permit pursuant to section 42 of the zoning regulations on behalf of Lovely Development Incorporated applicant Laurel and Earl Kurtz owners, Lauren, I'm sorry. Applications for a special permit for a 20-lot cluster subdivision at the properties located at 648 Wallingford Road, 6614 Talmadge Road, Assessor Map 66, Lot 1314, Zone R40. Approval is based on plans entitled Plans Prepared for Whispering Oaks Cluster Subdivision, in parentheses, Section 42, prepared by Cratchit and Jones Associates Incorporated, Civil Engineer, Land Surveyors, Site Planners, with revision date of July 26, 2022. The commission makes the following findings as per section 42.2 of the zoning regulations. 1, the proposal is for the construction of 20 single-family homes which have an area that will be designated for open space that exceeds, sorry to add an S, 160,000 square feet in size. 2, the proposed development will be served by public water and public sewer service. 3, the subject property is located within R40 zoning district. 4, as per plans provided, all utilities will be located underground. 5, any land associated with the development which is not intended for development purposes will be set aside as open space. 6, the applicant has provided documentation that a homeowner associations will be created for purpose of maintaining both areas of open space and stormwater basin. 7, driveways for proposed homes have been laid out to provide adequate off-street parking in addition to attached garages shown on proposed plans. 8, the applicant has demonstrated the property qualifies for 20 lots density as the calculations described in section 42.27 of the zoning regulations. As per section 42.6 of the commission finds, based on the record, the application meets the following criteria. 1, compliance with standards. The applicant has demonstrated that the subject property conforms to qualifying standards of section 42.2 of the zoning regulations or other applicable sections of the zoning regulations and subdivision regulations. 2, fulfillment of the intent of this section. The intent of the section 42 of the zoning regulations is to provide an opportunity for flexibility through the option of cluster subdivision by permitting reduction of lot size. The applicant is proposing a development that will utilize this section of the regulation for purpose of efficiently developing the land with careful consideration of protection of environmentally sensitive areas which are contained within the subject property. 3, maintenance of private improvements in open space. The applicant has provided to the commission a draft homeowner association document that will be responsible for the maintenance of the areas for open space and stormwater feature. 4, open space. The protection of the areas of open space associated with the application is important. As per the soil scientist report prepared by Matt Sanford, there are 2 vernal pools located on the within the area of open space. One pool is high functioning feature, and the added protection that will be provided by the designation of open space will help this feature for the long term. 5, open space benefit. As noted that the establishment of open space for portions of the property will help protect a high functioning vernal pool, but the area will also connect with abutting open space areas, which will help create a green belt that will provide a higher degree of protection of areas which would be considered environmentally sensitive. The protection of inland wetland soils and other environmentally sensitive features benefits the community as a whole. 6, the importance of open space features. A large portion of the area of open space is inland wetland soils as defined by Connecticut General State Statute. Within the inland wetland soils complex, there are 2 vernal pools. It is important that these features, along with the system, are protected to mitigate any negative environmental impacts from development. 7, traffic. Per the applicant's traffic engineer, the design and siting of the proposed residential development will not overburden the existing or proposed roadways. 8, safety impacts. The applicant has demonstrated that the site has adequate sight lines at the intersection of the proposed roadway and Wallingford Road. The 4 homes on Talmadge Road also have adequate sight lines. Therefore, the commission, as required by section 40.4 of the zoning regulations, has considered that the size, intensity of the proposed residential use and other factors listed in section 40.4 and determined that the proposed cluster subdivision meets the requirements and intent of the Town of Cheshire zoning and subdivision regulations and the Towns of Cheshire Plan of Conservation Development. Special permit approval is subject to the following condition. 1, the town attorney is to approve homeowners association documentation prior to filing on the land records. Said document is to be filed on land records before any lot can be transferred.
Mr. Kaderis and Mr. Go ahead. Got him. All right, discussion?
Yes.
Okay, you go first.
I'd
Mr.
just
Cotto.
like to make a statement here. First, I'd like to say I'll be voting in favor of this application. It is another good application that will benefit the town, allowing more families to move into Cheshire. Also, it is time we allow this applicant to proceed in developing the land that he has purchased and is allowed to develop. I also want to mention that I find it frustrating that a small handful of individuals have been continuously accusing this commission and have been obstructing progress by holding up this approval of this new development, including other good applications submitted prior to the site. Applications that I felt may possibly have been better on the whole for the town of Cheshire. I feel the small group did this for personal aggressions towards commissioners, landowners, and developers for selfish reasons. I hope this or whatever application moves forward becomes a welcome addition to the town of Cheshire and allows us to grow as a community and put this spectacle behind us. Thank you.
I haven't. It makes no difference whatsoever who the seller is. I've not talked to the seller, any of their agents, employees on this at any time ever. And whether the developer is from Cheshire or North Korea, for that matter, it's not something that we consider. There have been plenty of mentions about other alternatives. There are no other alternatives in front of us. There was only this one application. That's the only thing that we're considering. I've listened to the competent expert testimony. And the other things I'm not considering, such as regarding children in schools or what that will happen with the town. And it's also my finding that open space is desirable and beneficial to the town of Cheshire, and that benefit is cumulative. So a quarter acre here, a quarter acre there, a half acre there, it is cumulative and it adds to the quality of the town. I find that it meets the plans of development, and I will intend to vote in favor of it because it meets all the requirements that I mentioned in the application.
Yeah, I'm going to vote in favor of this also.
Could you, for my please?
I'm going to vote in favor of this application also. I'm going to just take a minute for explanation because there was a previous application on the same property which I voted against several months ago. But that was different. That was, first of all, it was a much denser project than this project. Plus, it required a change in zone. There was opposition from the neighbors, and while neighbor opposition can't result in not approving a proper application, certainly we consider it. I think everybody up here considers what the neighbors had to say. In any event, they convinced me that the last application was not in harmony with their neighborhood, and that's why I voted against it, because I thought it was not in harmony, and that's one of the provisions of the regulation. But here, we don't need a change of zone. This development is proper in this zone, subject to a special permit. We're getting single-family homes in an R40 zone, 20 homes on 20, I think it's 24 acres. Everything fits. To the extent that there might be thought that it'd be better to leave the property vacant forever, well, that's not going to happen because the applicant could build as of right, I think, without any particular process, 16 homes. I think the other 4 homes do not change the application significantly. I agree with the benefit, as explained, I think, articulately by Mr. Carderas. There is a benefit, and the benefit is open space. So for those reasons, I'm voting in favor.
You want to go, man? Go ahead.
I will also be voting in favor of this application, and I don't want to be redundant, but I totally concur with my colleagues up here for the same reasons. It fits in the zone. It works. It's unfortunate that our first application approval was appealed. Therefore, we have door number 2 here. But I will be voting in favor. And again, I want to thank Mike Glidden and Mike Strollo for getting me up to speed on everything that's necessary for me to make an informed decision tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Natale.
Thought a lot about this one. Listened to a lot from the neighbors, listened to a lot from the applicants, and for this application, and I agree, we're not talking about the previous application, so this is what we're here to discuss. I know that I asked the applicant probably for 3 months now what the benefits for the town were. First answer I got was taxes. Okay. The second answer I got was wetlands. Third answer I got was, well, now we're going to increase the open space. There's a lot of questions that came up from some of the neighbors that I don't know that were answered adequately or totally. So I don't know that I'm satisfied with everything that was part of this application.
Shut up. You want to go? No,
No, I'd rather not comment on this
So-
application.
go ahead.
Just real quick, I agree with most of what was said up here, and certainly I'm going to be voting in favor for it. It wasn't very nice to get accused of this, that, and the other thing. And as Mr. Bowman mentioned, this is door number 2, and we spent a lot of time on this. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. It's time to put this to bed and see some kind of progress or something done with the property meaningful. And with that said, I'll be voting in favor. And, all the neighbors, I heard your arguments. They were pretty good. But at the end of the day, the developer and the property owner have the right to do what they want to do, as long as it fits the regs and everything else that's been decided up here. So again, with that said, I'm voting in favor. And I say good luck to the developer.
I should have said before, but Mr. Hilsinger, I'm going to have him vote on this. Okay. So Mr. Hilsinger, do you have a comment or? Nope. Okay. Yes, Mr. Bowman.
I'd like to make one more comment. I would really like to thank our chairman for being so lenient in letting the public speak, sometimes on issues that were not germane to what planning and zoning has to take into consideration. But there used to be a painting up here by Norman Rockwell. It's not here anymore. And one of the most important things
You take it.
with that, I did take it home. I'll bring it back. But one of the most important things is the right to the public to speak. And I used to like that hanging there. And I'd like to thank you, Sean, for going above and beyond and giving everyone in the audience the right to speak on this issue. Thank you.
Okay. Nobody else? You want to speak? Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah.
Wood.
I'm voting against it. I would have liked to, they knew it was R40 zone and they took advantage of, in all honesty, our rules that, so I'm just feel that it's making a big change in that area, that neighborhood. And I just don't feel comfortable voting for it. So I'm voting against it. Thank you.
I guess I got the last.
The last-
I got the last laugh. Okay, out of respect to Mr. Schrum, Mr. Martin, Mr. Wage, Mr. Atwood that came in, a lot of the other neighbors that came in. I think that I've listened to everyone that has spoke and try to analyze the information that I got from the neighbors, also the testimony from the applicant, the experts as far as for soil scientists and traffic, the engineers from the town. In the end, I feel like Monty Hall, and to me, there's two doors, and I'm thinking the third door is the zonk. So I liked the first application, and I think I told everyone why I did like it. I think the second application is more in tune to the neighborhood. It's the same as Copper Beach or the other neighborhoods down on Coleman Road that are new developments. I think that's this kind of development. I believe in cluster subdivisions. That I believe in open space. I believe in all those things, and I think that's what makes Cheshire the best town to come to. And I think that's why a lot of people are moving here, and I think that's why houses sell. They sell here because we have a beautiful community. We have good people in town, and you know what? Not everybody agrees with everything, and that's part of life. I mean, not everyone's going to agree. What he's saying. No, that's what a commission does. We all form, we come to an opinion, and we vote on it. My opinion is that I am for the application. Reasons being is what I just said, is I believe in a good community, and I believe in a good neighborhood, and I think that this will be a good neighborhood add to that area, and I think it'll just help the other neighbors. So that's it. Okay, so that being said, a vote. I want to put all hands up. All those voting in favor of this application, please put your hand up. So it'll be Mr. Desco, Mr. Kaderis, Mr. Bowman, myself, Mr. Mercado, Mr. Selmont, Mr. Hilsinger. Voting against be Mr. Dawson and Mr. Natale.
So motion.
Okay, moving forward. No, I'm sorry.
All right, your next motion to approve application for cluster subdivision on behalf of Lovely Development Incorporated applicant, Lauren and Earl Kurtz, owner. Applications for a 20-lot cluster subdivision at the properties located at 648 Wallingford Road and 66/14 Talmadge Road, Assessor Map 66, lots 13 and 14, Zone R40. Approval is based on plans prepared for Whispering Oaks Cluster Subdivision, Section 42, prepared by Cratchit and Jones Associates, Incorporated, civil engineers, land surveyors, site planners, with revision date of July 26, 2022. Subdivision approval is subject to the following conditions. One, the request from a waiver has been withdrawn by the applicant, and the approval consists of installation of sidewalks on both sides of the proposed public roadway. Two, fire hydrant locations are to be reviewed and approved by the fire chief or his designee. Said locations are to be shown on the final plans. Three, Additional test pits are required within the area of proposed stormwater basin and infiltration system. Data from this test pits are to be provided to the town engineer for further review prior to start of construction. 4, all footing drains that tie directly into the proposed roadway stormwater system shall require backwater valves, i.e. backflow preventers. 5, indemnification and hold harmless agreements will be required for any lot that has a footing drain that ties directly into the roadway stormwater system. No certificate of occupancies will be issued for these lots unless said agreement is executed and filed with the office of the town engineer. Indemnification and hold harmless forms can be picked up at the engineering office.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Kaderis and second by Mr. Brucato. Discussion, and just, I want to make sure there is no waiver for sidewalk.
Correct.
No waiver. Okay.
But that's why
Yep.
staff suggested adding that wording for discussion purposes,
Okay.
just to
Yep.
clarify.
No, there's no waiver. The sidewalks will be both sides. Okay.
Absolutely no way.
No waiver. No waiver. No waiver. So, okay. So now,
Now the record's clear.
okay. Any other discussion? No? Okay. All those in favor of this part of the application, I'm gonna let her do this one. That's okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, John, you're right. I'm sorry. Okay, John has to do it again. All right. All those in favor say may aye. And
Aye.
against? That's two opposed. 702, yeah. 720, yes. I said you and Natalie. Okay, number 3, right?
Motion to approve application for special permit for earth removal, filling, and grading on behalf of Lovely Development Incorporated applicant. Lauren and Earl Kurtz, owners. Applicant is requesting special permit for the earth removal, filling, and regrading associated with 20-lot cluster subdivision for the properties located at 648 Wallingford Road, 66/14 Talmadge Road, Assessor Map 66, lots 13, 14, Zone R40. Approval is based on plans prepared for Whispering Oaks Cluster Subdivision, Section 42, prepared by Cratchit and Jones Associates Incorporated, civil engineers, land surveyors, site planners, with a revision date of July 26, 2022. Applicant is requesting waiver pursuant to Section 25(3.2), subsection 3 and 9 of the zoning regulations associated with this special permit. Commission finds that the applicant has demonstrated compliance as set forth in Section 25 and Section 40 of the Cheshire zoning regulations. Further, the commission approves the waivers to Section 25.32, subsection 3 and 9 of the zoning regulations as part of the approval of special permit associated with earth removal, filling, or regrading activities associated with construction of the 20-lot residential cluster subdivision.
Mr. Kaderis, Mr. Brucato. Discussion? Yes, Mr. Kaderis, Mr. Brucato. Okay. Discussion? Mr. Kaderis.
I think the applicant has demonstrated good cause for the waiver of the permits. For this type of project, it seems to be more efficient, more effective, and is minimally risking the town. The purpose behind it and the methods they're using, I find to be satisfactory. And will be voted in favor of it.
Thank you. Anyone on this discussion? Mr. Moon? Okay. All those in favor, and Mr. Hilsinger, you'll be voting again. All those in favor of this application of this, of this waiver, see by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Italian, Mr. So 720 again. Okay. Moving on to number 4.
Mr. Chairman, they'll be subject of a public hearing on October 12th.
Okay. Now, we have a lot of new business coming in on the north end, so.
So you have, well, first off, you have a special permit for a cottage food license that'll also, you'll hear that in 2 weeks on October 12th. We were able to advertise that in time. And then you have 3 applications associated with Stonebridge Crossing development in the north. Those are related to the construction of 300 apartment units. That will be advertised for the 24th so that we have some time. This is currently under review by staff. Colleen should have emailed you the digital plan set for this application. If she did not, I will send it to you tomorrow, so you have time to look at it. It's a large document, so I may send you a link to where it's posted.
Okay.
And the last one is a text amendment on behalf of Apex Realty. That also will be heard on the 24th to section 45.2 of the zoning regulations.
So just 2 on the 12th?
Yep. And that'll be Wednesday, the 12th. Because of Columbus Day, we're meeting Wednesday of that week.
Okay. And the 24th, some other.
So close to a holiday, why can't we just shift it further on? So if we want to take our family and go somewhere, we don't have to run back for the meeting. Like tonight, basically, I feel that we shouldn't have had the meeting
Yeah, but we
tonight
scheduled it
because of the
already.
holiday. I know
Yeah,
it
we
was
scheduled
an error, and I just think that those that are watching should know that we overlooked it. I'll say I overlooked it. Make everybody more comfortable, but I do apologize for that, so the public knows.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it. Got a motion. Yeah, motion. Mr. Mercado, motion to adjourn. Second by Mr. Garris. Opposite on that one. So Mercado, Caderas on that one. All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Okay.